Hello, and welcome here on my working table, and welcome to week 5 in the word challenge. The word challenge isn't my invention, it is Rita Sommer's challenge, and I'm participating in it the best I can. You will find all links below here under the little word more. My name is Lisbeth. I'm Danish, mixed media artist who likes to do many different things. So look at my playlist and find what interests you. And there also is a playlist for this word challenge. And look for the first week there. I will explain a little more about it and what I have chosen to do. But basically I have chosen to use only black, white and red here in this challenge. And I know I perhaps is shooting myself in the foot by such a limited thing, but sometimes it's good to have another challenge in the challenge, as you can say, and that is what I think I will is doing by having such a limited color palette. But I like that color palette, so it's not that I don't like the colors. So yeah. What else do I want to say? Yeah, if you want to support my channel, I have a Ko-fi account. You will also find a link for that here under the video, but don't feel obligated in any way. But let us start here with week 5 and what the word is. Oh my God, Rita, you really hit a tough word for me, because first of all I'm Danish, so I had a vague meaning about what the word meant. And it means the same in Danish as it means in English. And since I'm absolute not a word person, I have a hard time with words that isn't a thing I can see or feel or hear or smell or something. These words, I don't know what you call them in English, but this word here is a word I have a tough time with these kinds of words. I can relate to a ball or a house or the sun or so what, but if it is a bright sun, yeah, perhaps I can also relate to that. But these kinds of words are very difficult for me to relate to. But I will tell you what the word is and what popped up in my head hearing that word. So the word Rita drawn up of her pot was suspended. And I think I know what it means. But I had to look in the big books of words and the meaning of the word to be quite sure. When I hear the word suspended, I think of a person who is in a job but gets suspended, and that means they got sent home, but they are not fired yet, and they would have to wait till some decision has been made. It can also, in these crazy times right now, I think about the war in Ukraine. Why on earth can they decide on making a ceasefire over there? They keep suspending all the deals all the time. So the word fits in there for me too. But these two things I just mentioned, I wouldn't have a clue about what I should do at a small piece of fabric with this. So here in my big book, the third thing I got thinking about, that was, as far as I remember, and somebody can maybe correct me, I know the things men have to hold their trousers up. I think they are called suspenders, and it fits quite nice with here what it says in my big book, because suspenders can mean also hang up, and here it says, so yeah, you hang up your trousers, you can say. But it also said some other interesting thing that got me thinking about what I perhaps could do. And this is something about, it can also mean get rid of things to throw things away and in that ball game. And if I look a little more down into that, it can mean said a lot of different things about these things of throwing away and so and perhaps and I can use one of the words there, but it also say something about curling things up and throw them away. You do something and you put them in your bin. And I think that is the way I will be going. And I can close that now. Because I have just here a couple of days been through some of my boxes and bins and thrown things in my bin. And you can say my bin is like the man who has been sent home, waiting to get fired or come back. And things in my bin will also get thrown out of the house at one point. So you can say they are a little suspended when they are in my bin. And perhaps I will pick them up as I just have done, or I will throw them out and then they are gone. So this is the way I will go for this. I know I'm talking a lot, oops, and saying, yeah, you probably couldn't understand it, but my vocabulary isn't very big. So if I could say this in Danish, I could explain myself much more, but bear with me. But I have been in my bin. This you can recognize from week 2. That was going in my bin. And then I found all these small pieces here also in my bin. And the last thing I got thinking about, because it says curling up and throw away, was a piece of my Momigami paper. So this is what I think I will be using here today. And this was also in my bin, and it's a not very nice leftover from a jelly print with some wrinkles on it and some gold. But if I will be using that, I don't know. But this is the things I will set up and do a abstract collage with things from my bin of things that have been thrown in my bin and curled up. I hope it makes sense. I think I, as for a start, would like a big piece of this, filling nearly all the black, so there only will be a black border. And then I will give it some dabs of glue and invisible paste it down. And let me see here. It is a little crazy sharing this kind of paper here. It is a paper I have done myself, and if I remember it, can see if I can put the link to how you can Momigami your painted papers. And I also think it was about me using the 3 primary colors and black and white and mixing so many different colors, so you think it's a lie. There and there. I think it's fine, so let us go for here. Yeah, that was a little too little, so I will take a little more of. When you do this Momigami technique, it is an old Japanese technique, and if you keep on and on and on, at one point it nearly feels like fabric and not as, that wasn't, yeah, I want a little more of. I will do that out of camera. You don't need to see me doing all this, but it nearly feels like fabric if you keep on doing like this. So now I'm happy about the size, so I will just give it it is snowing outside right now, and it is so windy, so earth and sky is going into one. And it's a little funny to think of, because I've just looked at Rita's video, and she's been eco dyeing, and it is summer down there, and here I sit with the snow and a very cold weather. So yeah, but there. When I'm done with this little clip, I can take a little clip out of my window so you can see it's snowing. But I won't be doing. I will be doing the invisible basting. So I will just come up and go a little back, but I don't think I will be doing much of it because you make bigger holes in fabric, like holes in paper than you do in fabric, and so I will jump all the way over here. Normally I will just take go a couple of threads back, but there isn't any threads here in my Momigami paper, so I will take some really long stitches on the back. And since I'm doing it like this here, I ain't doing anything on the back here, as I also normally do. I don't think it is needed when I'm going to stitch into all this paper here. But I will do this all the way around, and you can always massage the little holes there, so it will be quite invisible. So this is all the snow I was talking about, and I know it isn't a lot. If you were Canadian or in Greenland, you would not think this is very much, but it is freezing cold here for a Danish person. So you can see very long stitches there, and I really nearly run out of thread, so but it will be sitting there for now, so I can come to the fun part. I have these small bits and bobs here, and I got thinking about these here. Perhaps they could represent the men's suspenders, these long strips here, and then I can make something like the clips at the end here. I know some men, they cross it on the back, but I think I will look at it at the front. But I need something under, and I have this black piece here, so if I put them there, it could represent that. And here I'm really happy about the white edges here. I would cut them off there, and then I can stitch something funny there. And else I have this piece of paper here, but no. And I think this is, yeah, I don't know. Perhaps this one here could work. As a composition. Yeah, this could work. Let us see if we can do it the other way around. Yeah, I like that better. I like the contrast between these two better. So this is the composition I will go for. But before I do anything, I will glue these on here, because it's easier to glue them on here than on the Momigami paper. So I will take my glue stick. And for these kinds of things, don't be afraid of using a glue stick here. It isn't a museum piece I'm making. It is just for my own amusement, and hopefully for yours too. And then it doesn't matter. I think I would sew something also before I put it down. Or I can also wait until it's down, but let us see here. Something like this. There. And this has to dry, and then I can cut these two snips off. That's the only thing. Just give it a couple of minutes because it isn't, and this is going in my bin. If I will dig it up again, yeah, I don't know. But it isn't very nice to stitch into wet glue. Glue. So here, I think I will let it go. Yeah, I think I can cut a little more of this off here. Yeah. Go down here. So I will also give this a dab of glue. There. And I think I will also just invisible base this black piece down, and then I can do something there. So let me do that, and then and you don't need to see me do that. You have seen me do the invisible basting so many times. But then I can go to the next. I think I will just do some straight stitches, like, yeah, you can say overcasting perhaps, but I just come up and go straight up and down. There. And I've taken nearly the same red thread. So you can see it, but it ain't. Screaming in your face, another color. So I will just do that on both of the lines. Yeah. And when I've done that, I will be back. So done with all this stitching here. So for the next little piece, I will just give it again a dab of glue, and then I will just put it down with a couple of big cross stitches and overlap it a little there. It is meaning this is going to secure this, because that little amount of glue I'm putting on would not hold for very long, then it will fall off. But I will just use it here while I'm stitching, so it's easier for me to keep it in place. There's no problem stitching into the Momigami paper at all. It is sometimes even easier than stitching into real fabric. See some big crosses. I think I have room for 2 more. that is what I mean with sometimes you just have to eyeball it and make some a little bigger and some a little smaller, so it will end up looking very nice, nice. So there and there. And there are these. So I will just let this one go in here. Okay, so that's that. And then there was this piece here. And this piece, but they are nearly the same length, and I don't think I want that. So I think I will cut a little of this off. I don't know what it is for a material or where I got. Now I remember. It is. I have it on a roll, and it is something you can buy when you are having a party and you have a long table. You can put it in the middle of the table and do some decoration on it. I think it's for that. I will give it a dab of glue and just secure it some simple places with a color thread that matches there. And then I will glue this on and decide what to do on this piece. Stitching this knit down, I just come up in the knit and I go down in the knit also, because I have a color thread that nearly looks the same, so you can't see the stitches at all. So just come up. You could also have gone around it, but I think this is easy to do it like this. I just feel it with my finger here on where to come up. You can see now it's sitting there nicely. I will do this also all the way around. So this is secured, and I just dab this on with the glue, and yeah, I know I want to do some stitches in the black, and since I have cross stitches there and straight stitches there, yeah, it's me, and the way I think of it and look at it is that it is such a small piece, so I could easily do 10 different stitches here on the piece, but I like it to have some of the same elements going on several places. So I think I will do some cross. Let us try if I can do cross stitches, and if they are visible. Oops, and now we're hanging into the net. And don't just make one if you aren't sure. Make a couple, then it is easier to see if it looks okay. Let me see here. It would look like that. I don't know how visible it is to you, but I can see them. If I took a white thread, it would be much more in your face, I think. We can see here. But you can also do that. But I think I will go for the red, and then I will do something down here on these two ends, and I think I will be doing that with this white thread here. I had this crazy idea of cutting these out and put one there, but it is too much and too crazy after all, so I didn't go with that idea. So I will do cross stitches they will go in my bin. I will do cross stitches all over here for this in the black areas here, just some small ones. I know I will have room for 3 in each of the marks. This piece is from a set of bed linen from the charity shop, and I really liked the pattern of it. I don't think there was 2 pillowcases and 2 duvet covers, and I wasn't giving any more than 45 Danish kroner, and that is about, yeah, what is it about divided in about $6 or so, or $6 to $7 or 6 euros, and I have a lot of fabric that way. And you can also, if you're lucky, buy old damask tablecloth that way, and it is really a nice piece of fabric you get if you buy an old damask cloth and use that. And I know Rita also eco dyes on old damask clothes, or not clothes, tablecloths. So yeah, I think it looks nice. I will sew the rest of it and show it to you. So I just ended up putting 2 small crosses down there because I think that looked nice to the other crosses. But you can see I just, as the name of the group says, followed my intuition. When I had the word, I got thinking about that, and then I picked the materials and I started to play, and my thoughts told me to do this and do that, and I didn't have a big finished plan in my head when I started, and you don't need that. You just follow your intuition and sometimes a piece tells you what it needs or what you can do with it, and that is one way of working also. But I don't know if I don't know if the devil or anybody else but me can see the connection between the word suspended and this piece. If I showed you to my hobby, yeah, he think I'm crazy already, but that wouldn't be the first thing that got into his mind when I showed him this piece. But it really doesn't matter, because it's a thought row, you can say, and it ended up like this with this word, and I have a great time doing it and enjoy stitching it, and that is also very important, I think. But I will take some close-ups here at the end of the video. First, I want to thank Rita for pushing me out of my comfort zone. That isn't always nice, but when you gone through it, it always feels much better. So sometimes it's good to be pushed a little. A lovely little push, just. But I hope you have been inspired and perhaps learned some tips and tricks and see the way I have been interpreting this week 5's challenge. If anybody can see what it is or so, it really doesn't matter that much to me, because all of it looks quite nice, a nice composition. But if you have been follow along here and you like my video, and you are very welcome to give me a thumbs up, or perhaps consider subscribing my little Danish channel. That would be very much appreciated. And if you're really into this thing here and you want to see every time a new video is coming up, hit the notification bell. But else give me a comment on what you think, and perhaps you are one who participates yourself in this challenge, and it could be nice to exchange views on this challenge here. So I will just say, please stay creative, and please take care of yourself, and not but least of all, please be nice to everybody. So see you again next Saturday. Bye bye for now.